What's up all you gamers? If you want to see what I think may well be one of the best CC builds and also a really good damage build that I've not seen anyone use before, then stay tuned. That's coming up next.
Pew, 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 pew. Pew, 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 pew. Whee.
Right guys and girls, so here we are at the gun range, and like I said, I think I've found a little bit of a kind of a hidden gem as such. So what you do is you're ducking into cover, and pretty much in every situation you're always in a bit of cover somewhere, aren't you, most times, unless you're a tank. And then what you do is you will chuck over your grenade, and in this case it's actually the riot foam grenade, so it holds them in place. And then you banshee them, so they're pulsed, and then headshot because they're already completely stuck, so it's nice and easy. And then you set the world alight, and if you have a little look there, that's 319,000 damage to pretty much every single target in the room as such. And then if you get the kill or someone else gets the kill, it'll transfer over again. Now the main thing is that you're actually doing as well, because you can do more damage than that, but you don't really need to, because what you're playing in this is kind of a support damage role. And what I mean by that is, if I quickly go through my gear, you can chop and change this, and I'll tell you some really nice loadouts, but the main thing you'll want is the gunner class, and then after that the main thing you'll want will be just some kind of a gun with perpetuation on it. Headshots grants plus 50% status effects damage and duration to the next status effects you apply. Now what that helps you with is basically either making this last a little bit longer, the old banshee pulse, or making your next thing last a bit longer, which is your chem launcher. The chem launcher is probably better in my eyes, to be perfectly honest, because your banshee lasts long enough. And what we've gone with a setup as well is, because we've gone like this, you've got 4-piece over here of the actual Eclipse Protocol armor set, and what you want on that will mainly be status effects and skill haste. Chuck that on all of them if you can. Mine is not perfect, it's good, it's not perfect, it's about 90% complete. And you're probably wondering why on earth I've got the go bag on. The Acosta's go bag works really well for one specific reason that I'll get to in a minute. So like I said, chuck on the Acosta's go bag, and mine's not perfect again, but it does okay. Now obviously you actually lose out a little bit on the status effects on that, but you gain it back on the gloves. So grab yourself some Golden Gear gloves, you get 10% status, and chuck some more status on the actual thing as well. So that is the loadout. 4-piece Eclipse, 1 Golden Gear hand, a Costa's go bag, and a gun with perpetuation. What I should tell you as well, it works best if you have another gun with mechanical animal. If you don't have it, don't worry, you don't have to have it, but having Future Perfect on your gun works really well. So if you can get that, try to get mechanical animal. And seeing as it was the seasonal reward, I think most people will have that by now. Now, like I said, we're running Banshee, Pulse, and Chem Launcher. And it's basically, like I said, this is a crowd control whole build. I've done loads of other damage builds, and this one still holds up on damage, because you can kind of muck around with it and swap a few bits out, like I'll show you in a moment. But what you actually want to do is to have a little look at the Banshee Pulse. One thing that I never knew, if you look right down at the last tier, Overcharge, the cone size is absolutely huge. You will hit nigh on everything. Confused duration plus 100%. That's really good, especially in harder missions like the Legendaries, Heroics. That extra duration is really good. And here's the creme de la creme. Charge speed 100%. So it can't get no better than that. But wait, it does. Weakness exploit. You and your allies' damage is amplified by 15% to pulse targets. And you've already pulsed them. So basically every single person on your team is getting that 15% extra damage when you go into overcharge mode. And like I showed you, because you've actually stuck them, so there you go, you've thrown that at, you're now in overcharge mode. So pulse them, do what you got to do, wherever you got to do, aim this, take some shots, everyone's going to light it all up. That's the whole world on fire and everything over there as well. And like I said, everyone else is getting 15% extra damage to everything. Now you can muck around, you can change the setup a little bit. There's a few actual ones that you can swap out if you wanted to, but this works well. And everything gets destroyed because you've got your chem launcher, you're making sure they're already stuck. And like I said, after that, something else I didn't realise, all of the overcharge modes in this game, they don't count individually. They do count individually. So basically, if this one on the go bag, which it says just over here, cooldown 60 seconds. So in my head, I thought there was a cooldown 60 seconds no matter what. There's not. If I get a kill with the mechanical animal, say I got it 20 seconds later, it's in overcharge mode again, which is really good. So basically you have got your pulse up quite a lot of the time if you're doing it right. Everything is on fire and your whole teammates are getting that 15% extra damage a lot of the time, a hell of a lot. Especially say for example you've got a tank in there as well who's giving them 10% extra damage through one of their setups, then they'll be getting 25% extra damage just through you doing this. I didn't know it existed on this. I've not used it in this kind of a way before, but it works really well, and hopefully you'll give it a try and see what you think. It's best in a team setup like this, but you can still do it. I've done 3 heroics on it already, so I know it works in heroics. What I did do, I think with the first or second heroic, I swapped out the mask and put it to the vial mask, took off the go bag, and basically I made it do a bit more damage with the actual Eclipse protocol set rather than all of the mumbo jumbo of trying to go into the overcharge, because I was still getting that every once in a while from the mechanical animal, and you can always boost your damage with this. Another thing that goes really well with this setup, if you didn't want to muck around with making the duration longer, or you didn't want to muck around with the second lot of overcharge, chuck on my absolute favourite gun in this at the moment, the Pestilence. While everything's on fire, while everything's getting tick damage, absolutely massacre one target and the tick damage carries across to all of them and they'll fall over. This is a really good build. I would say have a little muck around with it. If you want to intermingle some of the things, chop and change them, then go for it. Like I said, you can put the mask on, vial mask on, take the go bag off, or you could do 4-piece here and put a different mask on. There are so many different possibilities, it's unbelievable, but it works really well. One thing to be a bit mindful of, I tried using it with this one right here, my personal favourite, the Sticky Bomb and Burn, and for some reason when it goes into the overcharge mode, and it also has the banshee effect on it, the pulse, or disorientate should I say, because you've done that, the damage doesn't transfer properly to everything else. Like I was hitting about 400,000, 500,000. In one build I actually hit 600,000, I believe it was, with the mask. But when it was transferring across to the other enemies, it was doing about 60,000 instead. So I'm not quite sure if it just glitched out at that time, or if it can't quite calculate some stuff when they're pulsed as well, or in the disorientate from the banshee. But yeah, stick to this for the moment. Everything will be on fire. Everything will be basically running around like headless chickens, or completely stuck to the floor with your grenades. You'll have extra grenades everywhere because obviously you've got the go bag, and you're just going to make it so easy for your team to massacre everything that it's going to make it really fast. Right guys and girls, I'm sure I've taken enough of your time up, but I really enjoyed this build. I hope you enjoy running it. Hopefully some of you let me know how you've gone with it. If you've got any kind of improvements, then chuck it in the comments. And if you're not subscribed, then hit that subscribe button for all things Xbox, all the latest and greatest gameplay, and of course more Division content. As always guys and girls, I'm going to leave you with some gameplay now. Take care and see you all next day.